Hey everybody, it's Mina. So I am back again to help you fix that needle clamp on that Husqvarna machine. Okay, so you're here for a couple of reasons. The main reason is because you're having problems with that needle clamp. Now, initially, if you watch my first video, I show you how to, when your needle clamp is going bad, I show you how to fix it. If you watch my second video, I show you how to replace your needle clamp when the original one has totally gone bad. So I show you how to replace the needle clamp and where to buy it from on eBay. Now you're here because in my second video, when I was replacing the needle clamp, it just didn't seem 100%. Something was going on and I just didn't feel 100% secure with it. And I said that I would give you all an update. Well, here's the update because I've been sewing, and that needle clamp has been falling off. And I figured out the reason why it's been falling off. It's been falling off because there's a washer that's not big enough. The initial washer that came with the part, it's supposed to hold the needle clamp in place, and it's just not big enough. So what I did is I figured out what the fix is, how to replace it. So that's why I'm here today, to help you save money and not take this machine to a dealer that's going to charge you $300-400. And so that's where we're here today, for me to show you how to fix that needle clamp, the replacement needle clamp for this Husqvarna machine. So let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so what you're looking at is the back of the machine. This is not the front, this is the back of the machine, and what you're looking at is the needle bar. What I'm pointing at is the needle bar. I've already taken off the needle clamp. I've taken it off right there, and what you're looking at is the needle bar, and that little hole right there is where the new needle clamp is going to go on. Now, what you can do so you can have a little bit better access to the needle clamp and putting it on, you can actually take the needle bar and move it over to your right, and it'll give you a little bit more space to work with. All right, so what you're looking at now is the needle clamp, which I've already removed. That's the needle clamp. And what I have in my hand right now is the original washer that came with it. So that's the screw, and then that's the washer that came with it. Now this washer was, I don't know what size it is, but it's awfully small. And that little washer was supposed to hold that big, it's big compared to that washer. It's supposed to hold that needle clamp in place. So just over time, as I'm sewing, that little washer could not possibly hold that needle clamp in place. And what was happening is it just kept, over time as I was sewing, changing my needle, the needle clamp would just fall off. And I already knew when I replaced it that it just wasn't, something just didn't seem right. So what I did is I went to the hardware store and I got another washer, and it's much thicker. It's more sturdier, and that is a 1/2-inch washer. So if you want to, replace the one at the hardware store, it was 19 cents, came to 21 cents with tax. So that's the washer that I got, and it's much stronger and wider, and it's going to hold the needle clamp in place. So the screw fit and everything. So again, that is a 1/2-inch washer. All right, so what you're looking at now is the back of the machine. I have the machine sitting in front of me with looking at it towards the back. Now, what you can do to have a little bit more access to that needle clamp is to actually move it over to the right side. All right, so now what you're looking at is I have the original screw that came with the part, and I have my new washer, which again is a 1/2-inch washer. And the first thing that you need to do is just put the screw through the hole of the washer. And again, look at that washer. It is so much more sturdier than that original one. It's bigger, and it is going to hold that needle clamp in place. All right, so what you see me pointing at is the hole where you're going to put that screw at. Now, the screw that's going to be your needle stop. That's actually going to serve as your needle stop. So go ahead, and you see me maneuvering my hands, and it's a tight area. So you see, I went ahead and I dropped it on the first try because it is a tight area. But again, you can move the needle clamp over to your right just to have a little bit more accessibility. So I'm taking that screw in the washer, and I am putting it through that little hole. And again, that hole is going to be your needle stop. That's where your needle is going, the top of your needle is going to stop at when you're changing your needle. All right, so I'm taking my little hex screw. I believe that's called a hex screw, and I believe it's 1/4 of an inch, the size of 1/4 of an inch. I think it comes with the replacement part. So what I'm doing now is I'm just screwing that screw in, and you don't want to screw it in all the way. Just screw it in enough just so where it's in there. Because the reason why you don't want to screw it in there is because you need to put the needle clamp in there. And again, that washer it should lay flush up against your up against the needle clamp. Now here's the needle clamp. I have the needle clamp in hand, and with the needle clamp, again, please remember that you're looking at this from the back of the machine. So when you put the needle clamp on, you're going to put it on the needle bar. And one thing that you're going to have to make sure that you do is put that needle clamp on straight. All right, so go ahead, and I'm kind of pushing my threader down just so I can have a little bit more space. But put that needle clamp on. Do the best you can to get that needle clamp on straight. All right, and then now this is where we're going to do the final tightening. You're going to take that hex screw, and you're going to tighten that washer up against the needle clamp. And if you watch my video before, you'll see that the original washer, I mean, I was having so much trouble getting it to lay flush up against the needle clamp. But see, again, this washer is much bigger, and go ahead and tighten it. And what you're doing is you're tightening it up against the needle clamp. You see that? It's laying flush up against that needle clamp. It has, I have a lot of space. Like before, again, that washer, it was barely touching it. So that's why it kept falling off. And then that's it. You've installed your needle clamp. So I just want to give you a little bit better view. Yep. So you see that washer is laying flush up against that needle the needle clamp, and it's holding it in place. It's holding it in place. All right. So now let's go ahead and test this out. So now I put my machine, I turned my machine back around. I plugged it back in. So I'm going to go ahead and thread it, and I'm going to test this out. I feel so much better replacing that washer, because now I know that the needle clamp is secure. So now I'm putting the new needle in. And one of the things that made that needle clamp come apart, that little screw where you screw to tighten your needle, that also holds the needle clamp in place. So now that the washer is holding it secure, now I can change my needle and not worry about having it too loose, because if I turned that screw to put my needle in, that would make the needle clamp loose and it would just fall out. So I really got tired of, having to unplug my machine, move it, and tighten, that screw in the back. So yeah, so go to your hardware store and get a 1/2 inch washer. Make sure that the screw fits inside the washer head, the washer hole, and screw it in the back up and screw the needle clamp on, and you are good to go. So now what I want to do is I'm just, trying to find some fabric. I threaded my machine. I'm going to test out this needle clamp. And again, make sure when you're installing the needle clamp from behind, you have to make sure that it's straight, because if it's not straight, your needle's gonna be off in the front. So you may have to do this a couple of times. You may have to take your needle clamp back off and kind of straighten the needle clamp, because sometimes it may not be straight because you're working from behind. So yeah, so it's all good. Everything's working good. I feel 100% with this one. So hopefully I won't have to do any more updates on this. I hope you enjoyed this video. Like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. Comment. Let me know if there's work for you. Let me know if you bought the part. Let me know if you replaced the needle clamp using this part and the washer. What I did is I reached out to the eBay seller that I bought this from and asked him to consider putting a 1/2-inch washer in there, so we don't have to go out and replace it ourselves. All right, peace.